The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com. All right, welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
Final segment of the show tonight, and we're going to talk about the Cubs. They just came off of a sweep of the Cincinnati Reds, first sweep of the season. They're 21-19 right now, so things are looking up. They also play the Milwaukee Brewers this weekend at Wrigley and then San Francisco. So, and those two teams aren't great. I know Milwaukee's been okay this year. San Francisco's been struggling for the most part of the season, but it looks like this is a great opportunity to turn things around and get back into first place.
Yeah, I mean, they had the schedule. They just swept the Reds. I mean, I haven't gone to any home games in a while. It helps. I'm only 0-5 at games.
Yeah, I mean, that's upsetting. But, I mean, obviously, it's not going to go like that the rest of the season, I would hope. That would be kind of unfortunate.
I'm going on Saturday, and it might get rained out. They're giving away the final out bobblehead.
Yeah, that's the final out bobblehead, so that'll be fun. So, I mean, the real main concern now is Hayward is coming back soon. I think this weekend he might be ready to go, right?
Right, and I feel like they're going to just option LaStella because he has options.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm just like, Tommy has played so well. I mean, he should be on the Major League roster.
Yeah, he's definitely played pretty well. He wasn't great last year, but they didn't need him. But yeah, he
was pretty. I mean, he had 280 last year.
Yeah, he definitely didn't have as much time as he's had this year. Like, you know, as many at bats / starts, because the Cubs have had some injuries this year to start the season. But yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. Would be send LaStella down when Hayward comes back. Obviously, at this point in time, if you can do that, you wouldn't want to send Happ down. At this point, he's been so good, and it's just it's really going to be interesting later in the season because it seems like the Cubs are probably going to have to trade for a starting pitcher.
I mean, and it's not just like, and this isn't something, you know, that just popped up that they need. They needed this for quite a few years. So
I mean, it's been a concern.
And when you factor in Arrieta and Lackey are free agents, and John Lester will be going into year 4 of his deal, he'll be entering, I believe, his age 35 season.
Pretty old, yeah.
I mean, you need more pitching, you know, because I mean, you could have 3 holes next year because surely Brett Anderson is gone.
Yes, so it'll just so I mean, you know, when you talk about trade candidates, I mean, obviously people are going to be upset if they do this because, you know, people that could possibly be traded, maybe Schwarber, maybe Baez, maybe Almora. I don't know.
Maybe, I mean, and Eloy Jimenez.
Maybe Ian Happ. Maybe they're showcasing him right now. I mean, who knows? There's a whole lot of things. Maybe Jeimer Candelario. He got sent down recently, but I mean, he's another guy that a lot of people are high on. So I don't know what they're going to do, but whatever they do, you know, there's going to be some
met
people
with
upset.
A lot of criticism.
Yeah.
Now,
as usual for everything the Cubs do, there's always people that criticize.
Schwarber, Happ, Baez, and Almora. If you had to pick one of them,
you're not going to like
trade,
what I'm saying, but
who would you pick to trade?
For me, it would be Baez. And
really?
Yes, and I was thinking of some reasons why earlier. The main thing for me is I don't think he's as good defensively as everyone thinks. He makes the great plays sometimes.
One thing I noticed,
he's
like,
been scuffling this year, though.
Yeah. One thing that I've kind of noticed, he makes some. I mean, there's no denying he makes incredible plays.
Denying
incredible plays. There's
right.
not many guys that can make the plays he does. He's quick on his feet. He's good at reading the ball.
Yep.
Except sometimes I feel like he misses some of the easier plays. You know, if it's like an impossible play, he makes it every time.
And I feel like everyone really got on the bandwagon of Baez because he had such a good postseason, and he did. There's no denying that without Javi Baez, we may not even win the World Series the way that it went.
I mean, he was co-MVP of the NLCS.
Right. He made some great plays. He hit that home run against the Giants in that 1-0 win. I mean, he
homered
was
in
huge.
Game 7 of the World Series.
Homered in Game 7 of the World Series. I just think overall, I know there's a lot of outfielders, but but if Ian Happ is going to play second, Ian Happ was drafted by these guys. Javi Baez was not. He was a Jim Henry pick. So, I think that's also a big flag and a big reason why, if they were to do that, it would probably be because of those things.
Yeah, I would say if I had to pick, I'd honestly would pick Schwarber. I just feel like, in my opinion, it's going to be his defense that just kind of. That's just going to.
I would understand it completely if they traded Schwarber. I would understand.
I must be like kind of I just feel like his defense eventually is going to be like the big turnoff with him. It's like you want the National League to adopt the DH just so the Cubs can keep him.
Right.
I feel like he's just so much better in an American League ballpark where he can DH and then play the field some of the time, because like. With the Cubs, like Ian Happ can play second base and he can play the outfield and he can play them pretty well.
Yeah.
And like Albert Almora has Gold Glove worthy defense in the outfield.
For sure.
And then you've also, another thing, you've got outfielders in the system. You've got Eloy Jimenez that looks like he could be the next big thing once it comes his time. He's the one guy I hope they do not trade. I feel like he's going to be something special.
Yeah,
I
think they probably feel the same.
I think they chose between him and Gleyber Torres when they signed him the same year, and they're keeping Eloy. I think he'll be better than Gleyber. I think he'll hit for more power.
So you think Eloy Jimenez is the guy that will come up maybe when Zobrist is done or something like that?
Ideally,
right.
by maybe in 2 seasons when Zobrist's contract would be over, he'd be ready for a call up.
Exactly.
I don't think they called up Ian Happ just to showcase him.
Neither do I.
Because it's a little early because they might have to send him back down when Hayward comes back. I think it's either going to be him or Estella that gets sent back down. And the thing is, you have to factor in when Hayward comes back, is Happ going to be starting? Well, Estella, is just going to be held to pinch hit duty and some spot starts and what matchup Joe Madden likes. Like Ian Happ would need to be. You would only want to keep him up if he's going to play every day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I mean, it's really gonna be interesting. I know Javi Baez had a street in Little Puerto Rico on the south side of Chicago. He had a street named after him. So I mean, imagine if they traded him, just sort of the backlash that would happen. And if they traded Schwarber, that would be huge backlash as well.
If Baez was traded, there would be like people burning Cubs gear. Like I feel, and the thing is, it's like. One of those guys is going to have to be traded if you want to get this cost-controlled pitcher with a couple years of control up, because you don't want to keep signing the free agent pitchers because these guys are all 30 or 31.
Right, and you saw sort of how it works out. I mean, Lackey's not great.
I mean, granted, they signed him as a 37-year-old, except, like, you don't want to be – the thing is, like Lester, you don't want to be – you'll get the first 2-3 years that they're really good, except then you don't want to keep paying those guys those last 3 years to be bad. Like, look at CC Sabathia and the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, God, he gives up, like, 6 or 7 runs every start, so it's, like, kind of ridiculous. So it'll be interesting to see. Time will tell what the Cubs are going to do, but it looks like they're probably going to do something, and some people are going to be upset about it, and I mean, understandably so, but it's all for the future of the team. If you can see past it and see that the Cubs really need to stir up the back end of that rotation, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean...
We'll see what they do.
They need to do something. Everyone knows that. It's just a matter of what.
Right. So thank you for joining us tonight on Sports Renegades. We had a really good show. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
We will talk to you next time. Have a great night. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.